Hello, everyone, and welcome to NGamers Checkpoint, a Netflix games podcast. And you've made it to episode 1. Welcome, everyone. And this is a podcast that we do where we talk about everything Netflix games. So, we got some news. We'll be talking about the new games that are coming out, and we'll be talking about some thoughts that we have about Netflix games. And we have also a special spot for our good friend NG here, who will be doing something interesting that we'll talk about a little bit later during the show. But speaking of which, we've got NG with us, Netflix Gamer. How are you doing, my friend?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Are you excited as much as I am today?
Yeah, it's going to be a big thing. I haven't done a podcast in months.
That's awesome. So we also have another person on the main panel. He's called Sidlon, and he's very familiar with Netflix games also, but he couldn't make it today. But we'll be seeing him on the next episode. So today, because this is our first episode, we'll be introducing ourselves. We'll be talking a little bit about our background and what we do and stuff like that, just so you guys can have like an insight of who you're speaking to and what kind of background you can expect while we talk about Netflix games. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna do like kind of like a mini interview to NG Gamer and NG. Basically, hope you're ready for this. I hope I didn't put you on the spot here.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Don't worry. I read.
That's awesome.
I read the questions. Or at least I remember what one. Or at least not two of them are. So.
Perfect. So the first thing I want to know is when did you start gaming, and what are some of your favorite games?
See, I can't actually put an exact date on when I started gaming, but my first game console was when I had a DSi when I was really young. That was like my first console. Then I had a Wii. Then I had an Xbox 360, and I've sort of been collecting games, especially since I have about 18 game consoles. I've got everything like a Steam Deck, Xbox Series S. I've got a Mega Drive Master.
Nice.
A lot of stuff. It's just obviously yeah.
That's cool, and it's interesting that you say that you started with the DSi, because I know that you're a big fan of collecting Game Boy Advance games also, right? So that's like one generation before, so I like that.
That's actually a funny story. She's been kind of encouraging, like, oh, get this one. And I'm like, oh, I'll get this one and this one. And obviously I obviously know the tricks of the trade to like get some decent games for quite cheap on second-hand market. So I'm obviously I've done that obviously.
That's very cool. I love that. So it's nice to see that you and your girlfriend is sharing like that hobby there. Um, but now I'm very curious. So how did you hear about Netflix games in the first place? And what made you so interested about it? So much that you wanted to do content about it, right? Like you have your own channel, which is in the description of this YouTube video. But yeah, tell us more about how you got interested in it.
Well, funnily enough, I've actually had interest in services like this and cloud gaming, especially for quite a long time. Obviously, when Stadia was obviously a thing, I obviously made a few videos on Stadia on my channel. They didn't really do that well, obviously, because obviously Stadia's had a weird thing where people seem to really hate it. But with Netflix games, how I heard about it was actually through What's on Netflix, because me and Casey Moore, who runs What's on Netflix, were mutual followers for quite a long time before I eventually ended up working with Casey on some stuff about Netflix games. But What's on Netflix obviously made some posts about Netflix games, and obviously as kind of momentum built up, obviously I started hearing stories and rumors like, oh, they bought this company, they bought this company, they bought this company, and I started getting interested in that. I started thinking, well, Netflix has such a huge IP portfolio. They own everything from Roald Dahl to Millerworld and Stranger Things and BoJack Horseman, all this other stuff. So I figured they have a huge lineup of stuff they could turn into games. I'm interested to see what they could do with the games, and obviously they come out swinging. In my opinion, they come out with quite a good lineup, and obviously I'm interested in seeing them build their lineup. I obviously report the news on stuff. Obviously, made my own opinion videos and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I just kind of feel like Netflix is in a good position because obviously they've got tons of IPs, tons of they make like what $11 billion in profit a year. So I'm like, yeah, they're set for this. They're ready for this.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, and today and every week we're gonna be here to convince people that there's some big stuff coming on Netflix and why we believe that you know, it's such a good service and why we're so much into it. Well, you guys will understand as we speak, you know, every week. But that's interesting. You spoke geez, I'm losing memory. Casey, you talked about Casey from What's on Netflix. So I just want to let you know, guys, What's on Netflix is a really good source also for Netflix games news. If you want to check it out, Kelsey is amazing. I've been talking about to him in the background, and he's really knowledgeable also, just with Netflix in general. So check it out. Check him out. But other than that, NG, what's your background? You know, like what's your knowledge about other than Netflix games? What can we expect from you? And you know, what other things do you cover?
Well, for instance, on my Netflix game channel, obviously, I'm majority Netflix stuff or Netflix games or stuff like whether they could have something like say books to the service or other forms of media that Netflix obviously has control over. Besides that, obviously, I do write for What'sOnDisneyPlus.com as well as What's on Netflix. I also run a YouTube channel of space on the retro gaming, so I make videos on like Evercade, Atari, you know, Sega, all that sort of stuff over there. It Microsoft, Apple.
Wow.
Yeah, Hasbro's one I've got for some reason.
So you're a true believer that gaming will rise even more, you know, by
I mean,
investing in it.
gaming. Yeah, I mean, gaming's like the biggest entertainment, or is one of the biggest markets in the world.
Mhm.
It's huge when it comes to entertainment, and it's the biggest brand of entertainment content in the world. It makes the most money in sales every year, beating out music, TV, and film combined. One when it comes to like investing,
Yeah.
and obviously, I went for Sega and Atari specifically because I believe in their projects and their plans for the future. So there's that.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, we'll definitely be talking also about investors and why exactly, you know, Netflix games has been happening. You know, it's basically because investors got interested in gaming and all of that. But we'll get into that also later on. Now, Angie, I'm gonna ask you the most important question of it all. What have you been gaming lately? What have you been playing?
Right, this might sound a bit weird, but obviously, besides obviously the few videos I've been making on Netflix games, so like using like Stranger Things, Puzzle Tales, Transformers Sports to Fight, and obviously Cats and Soup, I've been playing games on my Steam Deck, stuff like Centipede Recharged and Astro's Recharged. Basically, it's kind of funny. I have the entire Atari Steam library installed on my Steam Deck alongside several games from Night Dive Studios, which is someone I just acquired. I have over 150 games on Steam, but obviously I also have an Xbox and whatnot. But my primary platform is obviously my Steam Deck. So
Very nice. I like that. I've been playing some of the similar games as you too. It's nice. It's funny that you say that. I've been playing Transformers and Stranger Things, Puzzle Tales also. So it's nice. They're really nice games. Um, but yeah. So now I know that a lot of people in the chat knows me already, but I'm gonna introduce myself in case there's some new people coming in. You never know, right? There's might be some people from Netflix games that are new to me. And then we'll go and say hello to the chat. So yeah, I am Ninja Guy X. My background, when in the news they were talking about Netflix games coming in the cloud, and back then I was really into the cloud because I was into Stadia, so I was in that ecosystem and I was hearing a lot about it. But I didn't bother too much to look into it because I was like, oh, okay, it's cool, Netflix games, whatever. Let's keep playing Stadia. But anyway, now that Stadia's gone, I was looking more into it, and you know what? Like, it has some. And what else? Yeah, lately I've been playing a lot of Transformers Forged to Fight, like NG here. I've been playing some Leia's Horizon, Kentucky Route Zero. This morning I actually streamed Bowling Baller, so yeah, it's a very addicting game. But yeah, there's a lot of game on the service. I've been alternating between a lot of games, but it's been fun. Now, before we jump into the news, we're gonna go ahead and say hello to the chat. That's something that I usually do in the beginning, but I completely forgot. I do apologize for that. But looks like we got Dizzy in the chat.
Yeah.
Welcome, Dizzy, to the stream. I see that you are the first here as usual. We've got Four Scars Gaming. Welcome, my friend. Happy to see you here as usual. My mentor, as I would say. We got Sanchez saying, "You a Ninja Guy." Hey, Sanchez, welcome to the stream. Happy to see you here again. And then, what? Netflix has games? Of course. This is our goal. Also, me and NG is to spread the word that actually, that to let people know that Netflix has games, and all you have to do.
Yes, Netflix has games.
Exactly.
Netflix has lots and lots of games. 61 games. Hey, go play them now.
A total of 61 games. Exactly. So they keep growing. We're not seeing any games coming out of the service yet, so it's very interesting. And if you want to know more about it, I have actually released a video yesterday about if you want to know everything about Netflix games, you just go check it out. Then we've got Rouster says gaming, they're mobile games for now. Yes, might be growing to something even bigger later on, but yeah, for now it's only mobile games. What are games? Yeah, Four Scars, right? We don't know anything about games. And we've got Dead Alive who says, quick stop to say hello, but we'll need to watch later. All right, Dead Alive, thank you for joining in, and see you later. And yeah, they do have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. It's super fun. It's one of my top games on there for sure. We've got Bruce. Welcome, Bruce, to the stream. Happy to see you here. Why can't we play them in TV app?
Their developers on Steam. So I know Gry Fox's games and Night School Studios games are available via Steam. So if you want to purchase them on Steam and play them on your Steam Deck, you can. But I don't think Netflix itself is available via the Steam Deck.
That's interesting. We'll have to check out. Maybe make a list at some point to let people know where they can buy the game if they don't have the Netflix subscription. That's something to consider at some point. So then we got Neil J who says, "Hey guy, welcome Neil J to the podcast." And yeah, there you go. So let's go ahead and jump into the news. Are you ready for that, NJ?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Oh yeah. All right, let me switch the screen.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this nice transition. Ooh yeah. All right. So we'll be covering today a wider array of news because because this is the first show, so we'll be looking at a few things from last month also. And the first news that we'd like to talk about is Joseph Staten, who's joining the Netflix Games team. So he's doing a AAA game, and he's joined as a creative director. Joseph Staten is he's a writer. If I'm not mistaken, he was a writer of the Halo series, back then. So it's very exciting. He's the second well-known developer that's joining the team. There was also Sony Shako, who is the who worked on Overwatch. But yeah, NG, what do you think about that? What do you think we'll be getting out of Joseph Staten?
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm a little bit on edge on him. Basically, joining Netflix. Obviously, the fact that I am obviously a huge Halo fan. I've played all the Halo games,
No.
and I got to admit, I do think like he was involved with Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite isn't the best. It's the best game from 343, but it's still not the best Halo game that ever made. That's still Halo 3 in my opinion. But I do think that this is a good hire for Netflix. Obviously, it's clear that Netflix is trying to get into the shooter space, and the studio that they've hired, that's hired them specifically, is the one that's working on unannounced PC shooting games. So that'll be interesting to see what he does, whether it be a sci-fi game along the lines of Halo or Titanfall, or whether it be more something like Call of Duty or Battlefield.
Hmm.
It all depends on like what they do. And obviously, with what's his name, Chuck or Sonny, what's his name? Is that
It's
is that
Sony
the other guy
Chaco,
that
yeah.
Sonny Chuckle, with him as well, who also works on Overwatch, it shows that they're working against some big names of talent from these like shooter-like games to come over and obviously work on this new AAA project. So
Mhm.
I have high hopes for it, but obviously I want to know a name and a trailer before I get too hyped. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you. Like, I mean, we gotta be, yeah, we still have to be cautious about it, right? Like, like these are big names, but you never know. You still have to like have a good budget, and make sure that you manage your team
Yeah, and also
properly.
what people need to realize as well is yes, you got these two big names, but they weren't the ones that were single-handedly behind those games. They had massive teams of hundreds of people helping make these games. So just hiring those two guys isn't going to make this game like just massive success. It's going to take time. It's going to take a dedicated team, and the team's going to need to know their stuff and know how to make a great game.
Yeah, exactly. And do you think that, Joseph was like kind of like this the writer of Halo, and now he's joining as the creative director. Do you think that he'll like have a big impact on the story?
See, I don't know. It really depends on me, like what genre the actual shooter is. Because
Mhm.
obviously, if it's like a fantasy shooter similar to like Hexen, for example, then I think he'd be out of his wheelhouse. But if they did say they try to do more like Halo or Titanfall or Call of Duty Advanced Warfare or something like, then I feel like he would have more of an input because he'd sort of understand it more. Especially since this is a since this is probably a new IP,
Yeah,
probably
definitely.
new world that they're creating. But there's probably a lot more boundaries that they can push. There's more stuff they can do, more lore they can expand on. Because from what we know, this isn't established. This isn't an already established IP, so
No.
they've got no reason to really, worry about like lore and that. Like compared to Halo, where it's got this like what 20 plus years of lore that they've built up. It's kind of hard to change things. Like with this new IP, obviously you can change whatever you want because obviously it's a brand new game. There's no lore behind it.
Yeah, yeah, I gotta agree with that. And it's exciting. But it's very recent. So expect to only hear about this game in maybe like 2 or 3 years, because AAA games doesn't take like a few months to do. So hopefully we'll hear about it at the very least in 3 years. But it's exciting. I'm not sure if they're going to be using like a Netflix IP or if they're going to be doing a brand new IP. It's just exciting stuff, to be honest.
Well, funnily enough, I want to. I know this isn't really relevant, but funnily enough, I report this game is actually the first thing I actually spoke on my channel back when I launched it. So I know it's a PC game. I know it's the first person shooter. That's all I know. That's all I really know. They've not really announced much. All I know is Joseph Staten is now working at that studio as well. So like that Sunny guy. So hopefully we hear some news about it within the next like 12, 18 months or so.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
hopefully, yeah, hopefully we have a few more details on like, like is it team based? Is it got a single player campaign? Like what they do with it?
Yeah, we'll be seeing like a surge of news at some point about all of these games that they're creating, and these 16 in game studio that they have, and all these games that they're talking about. So it's exciting. The future is promising.
Yeah, the future's bright. The future's bright for Netflix games. Just on the
Yeah,
basis they've already announced 86 games are coming within the next 2 years.
exactly. All right, next up for the news, we've got another person joining the team. It's Jerry Etzel. So for the people who doesn't know Jerry Etzel, he's actually helped out on creating their early Mech Warrior games, and also Gears of War 5. So he's a pretty big name, in the industry also. But yeah, so here it says big news. This week I started my new job at Netflix as a director of technology on a brand new game. It's not often that the opportunity to build a team to create a new original IP AAA games comes along, so I knew I had to jump at the opportunity. I am grateful to join Chaco Sony and Joseph Staten in their quest to deliver an unforgettable gaming experience to players around the world. Exciting times ahead. So here we are with another big name, coming in. They seem to be recruiting. They seem to be pretty aggressive about, hiring the good people out there. So I'm not sure, what
Well,
else I can add to that, but what do you think?
well, it's funny you say that because Netflix's actual business model, at least when it comes to the hiring philosophy, is hire the best people they can and when they can, and see who's willing to go the extra mile for them to like push themselves more and more, and then whichever staff they keep that push themselves and like show that they're worth that to the company are kept. Or the ones that don't compete as well are the ones that are obviously laid off.
Hmm.
So I understand like getting the talent now, but it's to see if the talent actually performs well. Obviously, I don't know if that's how they do it with the game studios. That's what I know that they've done with other parts of the business in the past. But
Okay.
then we've got to consider that Netflix as well. Like, funnily enough, this guy worked on Gears of War 5. Funny enough, just a little bit of tip information for people. Netflix currently has the rights to make a Gears of War movie and a Gears of War adult animated show. So it's quite interesting to see that they're hiring people that used to work on Gears of War as well. So that would be kind of cool to see if this game's like a third person shooter, first person shooter, because it's the same studio that obviously Joseph and Sony, not Sony, Sony are working at. So it'd be kind of cool to see what they come up with, whether it be a third person shooter like Gears of War, because we haven't had any good one besides Gears of War for years, or if it's more like Halo, like what they're going to do. Obviously, or you could do like Overwatch, Halo, Gears of War. You've got people from all different IPs, so maybe it would be a nice mix of all three. You
Mhm,
never
mhm.
know.
That's the thing, right? Like we don't know anything. All we know is that it's a AAA game, and it's an original IP, and that's it. So that's why I understand why you're vigilant about it, because as long as we don't have information, we just don't know. It could be like a gotcha game, like it could be like, oh, you gotta collect these anime girls. You never know. So, but I don't believe that's gonna be it. But yeah, I can't wait.
I doubt it.
Yeah, yeah. I can't wait to see, what it's going to be. Is it going to be a mature game, where, like you said, first person, lots of killing, or are they going to be more light, like, or more like an adventure game where, just with a
Well,
story or.
from what I know, is this game, at least the one we're aware of that they're working on at the studio, because it's the Netflix game in California. This job listing, right?
Mhm.
He's been hired. Yeah, well, basically back in September last year, I believe, whenever I launched my YouTube channel, the first video I made was on the fact that they had news that they was working on a PC shooter game. So unless there's like another game they're working on the sidelines alongside this one, I assume it's the same game, and I assume it's this PC shooter game that Sonny, Joseph, and this guy are all working on. So that's what I assume, at least, is what's going on. So I assume they're working together on this AAA first-person shooter game, or if not first-person, third-person shooter game. It's based on the IP, obviously, so Netflix needs obviously to branch out on that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't really know if it's the same game or if it's like another game that's secretly been in development for a long time as well.
Hmm.
We don't know because this studio was only set last year, I believe, so it's kind of mixed.
Only time will tell.
Yeah, only time will tell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, so these are about the news that we have, but we also have some new games that came out this month. So the first game I'd like to talk about here is Leia's Horizon. Have you had a chance to play it yet, NG?
Yeah, I made I tried doing a first impression on the game, and what basically happened was the audio was messed up, so I had to delete it and have to try and make another video. So I just made a video titled "Trying Layers Horizon." It's only a few minutes, but obviously it's just me trying to like figure out the controls of the game because I am very bad with touch controls on some games.
Yeah, I see. I see.
So with Layers Horizon, obviously you got to use both your hands to like control the actual game. Obviously the sort of games I'm used to playing on my phone are stuff like Subway Surfer, so like you swipe left or right. This is more you got to like hold one end up, one end down to like fly, so you don't crash into a building or whatever. But it's a fun little game. It's great little. It's got beautiful graphics. It's got great music soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
It's a pretty good game. It's a pretty good game from at least what I've played.
Yeah,
And also it comes with Snowman, who also made the game Lucky Luna, which is another great game on Netflix. So pretty good win for Netflix to get this game, to be honest.
definitely. It's really hard to explain how the controls works until you give it a try, because it's just very unique, very different. I find it very intuitive, and it just brings you more into the game. I find like it just makes you feel more like you're Leia's, and it's pretty cool. I gotta say, I don't know if you agree with me, NG, but I gotta say that this is probably the biggest and maybe like the best game on Netflix games. Would you agree with that?
See, I'd argue it's probably one of the biggest games, best game. I'm still out on the jury. I haven't tried every game on the service yet, so obviously I can't really say if it's the best game or the worst game on the service. Out of the 61 games, I've probably played about 15 of them, so I have to make my way through the other 36 first, and then after get back to you on that one.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a pretty good game. I think it's really good, beautiful graphics, great soundtrack. Controls are a little bit annoying to me, so I want to make a challenge to everyone who's watching this called the Layers Horizon Challenge. See how you can get the furthest without knocking yourselves out in the game, and film a video for it, and we'll just help us start a community using that. Start a Layers Horizon Challenge. We'll start a Layers Horizon Challenge, guys, and then we'll just see where we go from that. All right? I'm challenging everyone, John Spar, whoever. I'm challenging all of you. All right? There you go.
I'd love to see that. Awesome. Yeah, so at least we can say that it's a very unique game. There's no other games like it. It's an open world game. I think it might be the only open world game on Netflix games at the moment. But it comes from the developers of Snowman. They're called Snowman, and they develop other games such as Alto's Odyssey and Alto's Adventure, which is pretty popular on Apple Arcade's service. So yeah, I encourage people to give this one a try if you're a subscriber of Netflix games or just the subscribers on Netflix. It's very unique. I think it's a game you should at least try.
Yeah, indeed.
All right. So next up is the last game that came out and came out 7 days ago. Actually, since today, it's been a whole week. So Transformers: Forged to Fight is a game that released back in 2017, and they actually shut off their services in January. But thankfully, we've heard it back from them, and now they're back on Netflix games since last week. And they've added 2 new characters, which is Dead End and Chromia. Unfortunately, they removed all of the Michael Bay movie characters, but they've revamped the story. And now we're unlocking the story again, week by week, and it's a very interesting game. Have you had oh yeah, you did get a chance to try it, and you've been enjoying it. How do you like the fighting in there, NG?
See, it's great to me because obviously I was always a fan of games like Street Fighter and Killer Instinct when I was younger. Because obviously Killer Instinct was a huge thing when it first came out, when 2013 Reboot came out on Xbox and whatnot. And obviously Street Fighter is a classic. Who doesn't love Street Fighter? But with this game, I've got to admit, right? I've made this joke to you in Discord messages and whatnot when we was arranging this podcast, but I kind of feel like they should have titled it Transformers Knock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yeah, it's true. It's a good way to explain that. Yeah.
It's a Transformers fighting game. It's Transformers Knock'em Sock'em Robots. The last one standing. Although I will say it's pretty weird because I was never really a big fan of Transformers when I was growing up, but my cousin was obsessed with it. So I used to always have to watch the movies and all the shows with him. So I do understand some of the characters. I know who some of them are. I know Starscream, obviously Optimus, Bumblebee, and a few of the other characters. But what I think is kind of cool about this is the fact that obviously this isn't actually a franchise Netflix owns. Netflix doesn't actually own the Transformers franchise.
Right.
But it does show how much they're willing to go to companies like Hasbro who have the rights to Transformers and go, hey, how much would it cost for us to put this on our service? Because what you got to realize with some of these games like Transformers Forged to Fight is the studio who made the game doesn't actually own the IP. Netflix doesn't own the IP. The Netflix has to license the game from the studio, and they also have to license the IP from the actual Hasbro in order to get it on the service. Because some developers, some companies like Hasbro can be a bit weird with their IPs licensing, because obviously they could get commission in most cases from the sale of those games. So it's just kind of weird. At least that's my understanding. I'm not sure if that's true or not. That's my understanding of it from what I read years ago. So
Yeah,
don't quote me on that.
it's hard to say. Sometimes we overthink it, and
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah. Because
how could they do it? Like, how did they manage? But maybe they just bought the license of the game specifically, but they're not allowed to do anything outside of it. But
yeah, and also I do know Netflix did make a show for years with Transformers bots, so maybe they're good graces with Transformers. Maybe they want to buy Transformers. You never know.
Mhm.
If you do, please do Netflix. Please give me money. I have a stock in Hasbro. Please buy Hasbro. Thank you very much. I want my payout, please. But I digress. I'm not biased. I'm not biased in any way. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Hasbro be a good one, because obviously you get Peppa Pig as well. Who doesn't love a bit of bacon and eggs?
Yep. I would like to.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to make that joke. I had to make that.
Yeah. I would love to have outright games on there, because they have a good Transformer games also. It's called Transformers Battlegrounds, and it's really good. But this game in general, it's a lot. It's very flashy, and that's what I like about it. It's just visually pleasing when you do the fights. You can do like these special abilities with like a finisher move, and it's really good. The progression, it's very mobile-ish with you have to buy upgrades to upgrade your guy. You got like alliances that you have to do to gather some resources and things like that. But it's very fun. It's very well made. So it's out now, and yeah. Now let's talk about announcements of a new game coming this month. So we've got World of Goo coming May 23rd. So in just about a week. Keep your phone ready, because we'll be seeing World of Goo. So this is another instance where they stopped supporting the game on Android and iOS, and only people who purchased it in the past was able to download it back and play it. But it doesn't support every phone now, and it's pretty clunky. It has some issues. Cloud saving doesn't work. So they're now re-releasing it exclusively for Netflix games, and it's the remastered edition. There's not a lot of change in the remastered edition. It's just like a resolution change, if I'm not mistaken. And I think there might be another thing. They added some language, but it's a very bare bone remastered. But it's going to be there. I know that a lot of people are a big fan of World of Goo. It came out a long time ago, and it's a cool puzzle game that I encourage people to try. Is that a game that you've tried before, NG?
No, I've never actually played World of Goo. It's never one that was ever on my radar. I didn't even realize it existed until I got the notification that it was coming to Netflix games, and I was like, "Oh, okay. I've never heard of this. I guess I'll try it out," and obviously test it out on Netflix games, doing my own little walkthrough. Did a news update when it comes out, obviously, because I do it with every game that comes out on Netflix games. But like, I will say, it does, like, the fact that this game's obviously coming soon is quite surprising to me, because obviously Netflix tends to shadow drop games. So the fact they actually announced a date for it shows they've got a lot of confidence in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite good that they've given us a date for it. Because for those who don't know, so far this month we've obviously got a date. We've got a date for Layers Horizon before it comes out. We've got a date for World of Goo before it comes out. We've never actually got a date for Transformers Force to Fight.
Exactly.
That was a game that was like shadow dropped. So it's sort of like, oh, okay, so Netflix clearly has more confidence in World of Goo and Layers Horizon, or at least they think that they will pull in bigger marketing, or they've probably got more contractual obligations to it, or whatever. They did Transformers with Force to Fight. At least that's my understanding, and that's my thoughts on it. So World of Goo, obviously, is one that I will obviously try out when it comes out. Obviously, and obviously when it comes to the games on Netflix games, I want to say to everyone watching, don't take our word for it. Try them out for yourself. If you're a Netflix subscriber, test them out. Give us your thoughts. Comment them on this live stream, and after you've watched it, tell us your thoughts. Do you think Layers Horizon is great? Do you think World of Goo is amazing? Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. So let us know, guys. What are some of your favorite games on Netflix games? And I'm very excited to see what everybody likes. So I've been playing a lot of World of Goo back then on the PC when it came out, and back then it was a very unique game. I've never seen something that kind of puzzles before, and that's what made it exciting. The soundtrack is really good also, and it's crazy that now you can play it like on the palm of your hand. Like back then it was like not every PC could run that. Like, well, I mean, it wasn't that power intense, but it's just crazy that now they got it on mobile and it's coming. So yeah, I can't wait for you to try it, NG. I think you're gonna enjoy it more than you think because it's a very relaxing game and it's just weird in a good way, So I can't wait to see your thoughts on your channel.
Yeah, I look forward to taking a look at it, doing my first impression. Obviously, it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it came out like from what I know, it came out like 2009 or whatever. So it's like long before my time. And obviously, besides like some of the games that were like huge back then, like Dual Jump, Angry Birds, and I believe Cut the Rope. I've never actually heard of most of the other mobile games that are around that time because these weren't ones I ever really heard talked about growing up.
Yeah.
So Wanagoo is one I've never actually don't have any experience with in any way. So it's sort of interesting, especially when you consider that I've just listed 3 game IPs that were huge back then that I know of, especially since Dual Jump hasn't had a new game in like a decade.
Yeah, there's just too many games out there. You can't like play them all, right? But at least now there's the opportunity. You'll redeem yourself and you'll actually give it a try. I love it. So we have one last piece of news here to talk about. So Romanian gaming studio Amber achieves a turnover of over $45 million for the first time in its history. So Amber is the studio that created Walting's Animal Adventure, if I'm not mistaken. And correct me if I'm wrong, NG. Oh yeah, that's what it is. And so yeah, it looks like they're doing really, really good. They increase their profits of over 52% compared to the previous year. So yeah, I'm very happy for them. They're doing really good. Hopefully we'll be seeing some more games out of them. What do you think, NG? Do you think that maybe we'll see some more games?
But to be fair, I didn't actually realize this studio existed. I didn't realize that was the actual name. That they were doing really well when it comes to because when it comes to like gaming, especially for me, I tend to look at companies I already know about, like ones I already have heard of. So when a company like say Microsoft, Atari, Sega, or Netflix buy a studio that I've never heard of, or I'll look into that studio. Oh, that's what they do. Oh, this one Amber. I didn't realize this actually. Like I said, I didn't realize this existed. But I'm happy that they're doing really well. I'm happy they're making money. They're obviously they're doing really well. Preferably to me, Ted Sanderos, Greg Peters, and Reed Hastings might throw them a little bit of that, Netflix capital, to try and get a part of the company or get them to make more games for Netflix, because that's just what I think would be pretty good. I think Netflix should obviously see that this studio is doing really well and try and help them grow even more, whether it be like by bringing more of Amber's games to Netflix games or maybe just buying Amber outright. It all comes down to what Netflix thinks is smart. But obviously, I'm no businessman. If I was a business executive making millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars a year from just making some small little deals, then I would be, but I'm not. But hopefully Amber does continue to grow. It does do really well, and I hope that they continue to bring more games in the future. And I wish all them and wish the studio and all their and all their developers the best as they continue to grow.
Definitely. Yeah, so looks like from what I've seen here, they plan to reach over 1,300 employees, and it continues its geographic expansion. So they've got studios from all over the place. I think I see some, Montreal, Kiev from Ukraine, San Francisco, Los Angeles. So they're pretty much everywhere. They're pretty big. I'm not sure if Netflix game would be able to acquire them, but they've created games such as I'm looking here. They did they helped develop Gotham Knights, which is a pretty big game, and Tetris Beats on Apple Arcade. I remember Sidlon talking about Tetris Beat that has amazing music. So yeah, it looks like they're doing pretty well. So I'm looking forward to see what kind of projects they'll be doing in the future. All right, so that's all we have for the news. I noticed that there's some questions in the chat, NG. So how about I'll ask them for you and see if you can answer them for the crowd. The first question is from Sasha at the slot. She's asking, could we see integration with other services like PlayStation Plus and Netflix teaming up for streaming of PlayStation 3 content? Because PlayStation 3 is streamed anyway.
Well, to be honest, Sasha, I do know your real identity, but I do admit that I do think that it all comes down to what the actual owner and publisher of these games actually have. I don't think it comes down to specifically what Sony wants. I think it comes down to whether, say like Take-Two, who might have, say, Mafia on PlayStation Plus. It comes down to whether or not they want to make a deal with Netflix to stream it via the cloud. But I do think Netflix might do some deals with some third-party developers like that to get games that either they think fit the brand or would be popular enough to help bring people over to Netflix games. However, I do think there would be the issue of obviously how much would the games cost to actually license? Would it be worthwhile for Netflix to spend that money, or would they rather just invest it in their own properties, which they could then build up themselves and do the whole transmedia stuff with? So they could do like games, comics, books, TV, all the 9 yards of it. That's just how I think,
Yeah, that's very true. I gotta agree with that. Now Bruce is asking, what do you guys think will be the next Netflix games exclusive? Well, Bruce, I think it's gonna probably be something from their IP collection that they already own. We're gonna talk a little bit about that actually later on the show, actually pretty soon. But yeah, I think that whenever we see a big exclusive game from Netflix, is going to be part of an IP that they already own, like maybe like Squid Games, or maybe they'll even do like another big one for Stranger Things, because they seem to be very much into doing more games with Stranger Things. So we've got that. There's been some games announced like Queen's Gambit Chess, which is it's going to be a Netflix exclusive game, and it's based off a show on Netflix. And then we've got another one called Bones, Shadow and Bone, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Shadow and Bone's Own Destinies, which is based on a Netflix series, which is based on a book series. First of all, I thought they was going to bring out that game to actually hype up the latest season of that show, but they didn't actually release it. So I'm unsure what the future of that game is. Like, why is that not already out? The season's already come out. You missed a huge marketing opportunity with that, but it is what it is. I also want to say that I do feel that the next big games, Netflix exclusive games we will see, will probably be either Compass Point West or Dungeon Boss Respawn, which are games that Netflix owns.
Yep.
They're obviously getting remastered for Netflix games, obviously. I feel like these two are probably the next big exclusives. Obviously, from what we know, though, the next game from Netflix games themselves coming out soon will be obviously Oxenfree 2, which is Netflix games, same as the rest, but it's not exclusive. But yeah, I do feel like it'll probably be Dungeon Boss Respawned or Commerce Point West that will get be the next big Netflix exclusive game.
Yeah.
But obviously, it depends on what Netflix does after that.
Yeah, it's promising. It seems like these games are coming really, really soon from what we've seen. So hopefully it'll happen. I know that there's been a leaked video about Vikings Valhalla lately. So maybe we'll be seeing that soon, because they got the trailer done and everything. So we never know.
Yeah, I remember seeing that get shared around the Reddit page. Like, I remember seeing that in the Reddit. I went to click on the trailer and said this has been privatized.
Yeah, definitely. So we got Crow Resin in the chat. Hello, Crow Resin, welcome. Bjorn, Mr. Dad Plays Games says, Witcher 3 ported on mobile. That'd be something. Well, Bjorn, you never know, because there's a port of Witcher 3 on Nintendo Switch. And there's a lot of mobiles nowadays that are more powerful than the Nintendo Switch, so it would definitely be possible. So I don't know. I'm keeping a close eye. Like, I would love to see some Witcher, the whole Witcher trilogy actually ported on mobile. I'd be fine with that. Actually, yeah.
See with that, I kind of feel like Netflix needs to make a deal with CD Projekt Red to put both through Witcher and Cyberpunk. That like have Cyberpunk Edge Runners as an anime spin-off to Cyberpunk on Netflix, and they also have the Witcher TV show, which yes, it's based on the books, but whatever. But the thing is, what they should do is I kind of feel like they should at least license the games to Netflix games, and what they should do is they should use them as the experiment for their cloud gaming thesis, and obviously be like, okay, we're going to put the Witcher trilogy on Netflix games and Cyberpunk 2077, and that'll be our like testing ground for cloud gaming, see how well it works. see how we can like finalize and fine tune everything so it works properly. Those would be the games that I would do if I was in charge of Netflix. Obviously, the IP's already on Netflix. You might as well just bring the games over.
Yep, that makes sense. Hopefully we'll get this IP in there. I would love that. Then Bjorn says, and we mustn't forget the deal with Ubisoft. Absolutely. We might be seeing some stuff with Ubisoft also. But yeah, we do have a exclusive Assassin's Creed game actually coming on Netflix also. Oh yeah, and Valiant Hearts 2. And we've got Mighty Quest Rogue Palace there, who is a exclusive game from Ubisoft on Netflix games. So yeah, promising with Ubisoft. Ubisoft has been everywhere, so I love it. All right, so we got...
Ubisoft tends to embrace new platforms really quickly. They were one of the first supporters of both Stadia and Luna, so I'm not surprised that Ubisoft is working with Netflix for some games. And yeah, it's only their contract's only for 3 games, so those being Mighty Quest Rogue Palace, Valiant Hearts, Coming Home, and this Untitled Assassin's Creed game. But the fact that they actually made a deal with Netflix to begin with shows that we maybe get something like a Rayman game or something in the future as well. You never know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's go ahead and jump onto our next section. So what do we call it, actually? Do we have a name? I just put it NG's IP Thoughts. So NG is actually very knowledgeable in all of the IPs that Netflix owns. And
well, not all of them. I know a load of them that they do own, and they do have control of. But I don't know like everything Netflix actually owns.
Oh, we're trying to make you look good there, NG. Let's try to make you look good. Yeah. But yeah, but that's okay. So what we're gonna do every podcast is we're gonna have a small section where NG is gonna talk about games. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into that, and I'm gonna let you lead that, NG, right now.
Okay. Well, obviously this is obviously the first one I want to talk about, and I brought this up in a video recently on my own channel where basically Netflix bought the Roald Dahl company back in September 2021, about a week. It was either a week before or a week after they bought Night School Studio, who's obviously their first game studio who made Oxenfree. And I kind of feel like if you go through the Roald Dahl catalogue, Netflix got some great winners there. But one of the ones that I feel like deserves its own game because of how easy this game would be to make would be actually a game based on a Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, depending on what you're looking at, whatever you call it, from the Warner Brothers movie from 1973, Team Wilder, or the actual book by Roald Dahl. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory would be a huge game to actually do do an IP on, because obviously it's a well-known IP. Everyone knows Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's one of the best-selling British children's books of all time, and it's an interesting story. You know, you could do it as like an idle tycoon game where you basically build your own chocolate factory, or like you manage your own chocolate factory. You got to expand it, you got to grow it, you got to make it bigger. You know, you got to make your company do, you know, make more chocolate or introduce new products, you know, distribution and whatnot. And I kind of feel like it would be a huge thing for Netflix to actually use Charlie Chocolate Factory in such a way, because Roald Dahl is obviously such a well-known brand, such a well-known creative mastermind when it comes to IPs and whatnot, that I kind of feel like Netflix should actually utilize that. And obviously, Charlie Chocolate Factory is the perfect first step for that, because obviously you haven't got to do an action-heavy game, you haven't got to do like a massive story-driven game. You could just do an easy little tycoon game where you're building up your chocolate factory. You know, you're Charlie now, you've taken over chocolate factory. You know, you've got to grow it and maintain the business, and that would be an easy little simulation game, in my opinion, or tycoon game. And I feel like Netflix would benefit from having such a game on their service, because it's a new idea, a new risk, and obviously it's an established IP. So Netflix might as well do it, and obviously that will help them grow not only the awareness of the fact that they own Roald Dahl, which could boost sales of Roald Dahl books, but also the fact that they have these stories that could work as games outside of Stranger Things and a few other things that they've already done as games.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, they acquired it back in September 2021, and we've also heard you know, about a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory animated series, and that was a while back too, if I'm not mistaken, right? So you never know.
Yeah, but what's a little bit weird with this is obviously they announced a deal in 2018 with the Roald Dahl Story Company to actually adapt, I believe it was 11 of the novel That nothing's come from that deal yet. Besides the Matilda musical film, which obviously it's a Netflix film everywhere except from the UK and Ireland, where it's a Sony film. But I will say it's kind of a little bit ironic because obviously that film came out after Netflix actually acquired the Roald Dahl Story Company. So obviously, what's it? They had a deal in 2018. 3 years later, they actually bought the Roald Dahl Story Company instead of just having a licensing agreement. So they fully own all the stuff now, at least for the next, like, what, 40, 50 years until it all goes public domain. Obviously, Netflix could benefit from expanding the IP's awareness, not only of just Fire and Telegraph, but of all the other stuff like Matilda, Fantastic Mr. Fox, and other IPs in the library that they could easily turn into games or, thread books on Netflix or whatever, try and boost interest in those IPs to see if they'd be worth investing into series and films and whatnot in the future.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very promising. It's a very cool IP. I would love to see some kind of game about that. I mean, it's a very cool world. We haven't seen a lot of games about Charlie and Chocolate Factory. I think there was one like maybe in the GameCube era. It's been a while. I can't remember, but I think it would be a fresh take, of course, to get a game like that. Hopefully, we get to see it, and if they do end up doing it, well, NG, you can sue them and get some money out of it. So there you go.
I'm not sure how that works because Ali G tried doing Sony back in like 2002, whatever, because he was playing the PlayStation. Because he basically said that they stole the idea for PlayStation 2 from him because he thought of it whilst playing the PlayStation. And I'm thinking like, wow, if that's how this works, I should be a multi-millionaire by now.
Yeah, you did a lot of good idea. Yeah, you also made some videos about your Switch. That it would be cool to see Star Wars Force Awakens on the Switch.
Yeah, a month later.
Yeah, and then
a month after I made a video, it comes out. So I'm like, 83,000 views.
Oh man, that's crazy. All right, so we have one last thing to talk about here, and we just want to give our thoughts and about an interesting topic that happened recently. Let me just switch my screen again here. So we've learned recently that Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition approves by Europe's regulators. So, it's very nothing. It has nothing to do with Netflix, but there's a reason why we're putting it. It's because if you scroll down a little bit during the news, we're seeing Brad Smith here, and he mentioned the European Commission has required Microsoft to license popular Activision Blizzard games automatically to competing cloud gaming services. This will apply globally and will empower millions of consumers worldwide to play these games on any device they choose. So basically, if Netflix would end up going in the cloud, Microsoft would basically have no choice but to partner up with Netflix games. And I think that NG, you had some thoughts about that today, right?
Yeah, because for those who don't know, Microsoft already has a long relationship with Netflix in a lot of ways. Microsoft is actually the person providing the technology for Netflix to run ads on their ad tier at the minute. Netflix also has the rights from Microsoft to adapt the Gears of War franchise into an adult cartoon and live action movie on Netflix. And funnily enough, as well, back in the day, Minecraft Story Mode was actually available on Netflix's interactive series. So Netflix and Microsoft have a long running relationship. As well as you've been able to get Netflix on like stuff like the Xbox and whatnot, and obviously download on Windows. So to me, it just kind of makes sense for Microsoft to play nice in this situation. Like there is said, hey, you have to legally work with every cloud gaming service. So if Netflix does that as well, it'd also be beneficial to both parties because obviously Netflix has 230 million paying customers, while something like Xbox Game Pass is about 36 million, 33 million, something like that. Where obviously there's this huge audience on Netflix that could easily, pick up games like Call of Duty and whatnot as part of the deal, and that would obviously raise more awareness of those games to people who aren't already gamers, and obviously that could lead to people going out and buying them on other platforms or buying the merchandise and whatnot, and obviously that's just more money for Microsoft as well. So when you think about it, it just makes sense that Microsoft would play nice with Netflix in such a situation.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So if they do come in the cloud, it's going to be a game changer because it means that it's not just going to be mobile. It's not going to be independent on your mobile's power. You'll be able to play anything that whatever servers in the cloud they're using. So you never know. Maybe you'll get some nice games on Netflix Games Cloud, like Call of Duty, or Activision Blizzard, like what else? Overwatch, and Halo. You never know. Maybe you'll get Halo, and Jason or Joseph Staten will be back at making Halo games by association. That'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah, like to be honest, if I have to nail down at least 2 games, I think are going to get put on cloud gaming on Netflix Games out of all the ones that Microsoft own because of this deal. I reckon it would be Call of Duty, and I reckon Minecraft are the 2 likeliest contenders due to how popular they are and how much interest there are in those IPs. So
yeah. It's funny, Bjorn says, I want a Crash Bandicoot animated series. That's awesome. Today, Sonic Prime has been announced with a 2nd season today, so it's pretty exciting. But, oh man, I would love to see a Crash Bandicoot series done by the same guys who did Sonic Prime, because it's pretty on top of there. I can't believe that they haven't done too much animated series about Crash Bandicoot already, because it is quite the IP.
it's kind of strange because obviously they had the Skylanders TV show a few years ago, but they never gave anything to Spyro or Crash on their own. So it's kind of unfortunate because obviously those are 2 popular IPs from like way back in the 90s. They had successful remasters, but then they just kind of, besides Crash 4 and whatnot, they haven't really done much with the IP since. So it's kind of unfortunate that someone like Netflix hasn't come in and like, hey, can we make a show on this? Can we make a movie on this? I think it'd be pretty cool. I think it'd be cool if, as alongside licensing some of these games to Netflix, maybe Microsoft makes deals with Netflix, like, hey, maybe make some documentaries about these studios, make some documentaries about these games and these stories and what inspired these creators and whatnot. Because Netflix's biggest disadvantage in games, in my opinion, is that it's not seen as a platform for games.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like getting this cloud gaming deal with Microsoft could actually help them sort of legitimize themselves in a lot of gamers' eyes. And also, they could obviously make more content off of it, like, hey, how cool do we, inspired a generation of shooters, not like people going around with guns, but I mean like games and that, or stuff like how Minecraft helps educate children or whatever. Like you could do these documentary sort of style with sort of style content with this sort of stuff and boost because notoriety as not only a film and TV platform, but also a platform for games and gaming related content.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll see some more movie or TV show adaptation on games. There's been a few announced during the Summer Game Fest last year on the Netflix Geek Week, or the Summer Game Fest. So they had like a Tekken TV series. There's a Castlevania new series that was coming, but it hasn't been released yet. So hopefully we'll hear about that. What else? There was another series that they talked about during then, but
I think it was Resident Evil. But obviously that show got cancelled after 1 season.
Yeah, exactly. They got to make.
Like
more
I think you had
seasons.
Resident Evil, Sonic Prime.
Yeah.
Sonic Prime, Resident Evil. You had Tekken. You had, obviously, I know Gears of War is one that's been announced.
I know Horizon. They had Dragon Age. Dragon Age was one of them.
Dragon Age. I know Horizon Forbidden West and Zero Dawn are supposed to be getting some sort of film adaptation at Netflix as well, wow. So that'll be interesting to see.
A lot of stuff. I love it because that's what I'm familiar with, right? Like video games. So when I hear about shows, well, at least I'm familiar with what to expect. So I like that. So the Summer Gaming Fest is coming soon. Hopefully we'll hear some more new exciting news about either Netflix games or even shows about video games, right? So we'll be talking about that closer to the date. But for now, guys, these are the subjects we had to tackle. We've got many more. We've got a big list of stuff that we want to talk about in other shows, but looks like we've reached the hour. Hopefully you've enjoyed the first episode. Like I said, next week we'll have Sidlon joining us, and he has a lot of insight also about Netflix games, so it's going to be pretty fun. But other than that, NG, do you have any things that you'd like to add before we end the show?
Yeah, make sure if you enjoyed the video, like the video, like the stream, subscribe to NGamers, all that stuff, share it around on all your social media. And if you haven't already checked out the games on Netflix Games and you're already a member of Netflix, make sure you check them out. Obviously, they're on your iPhone or your Android device. I also want to say that obviously, if you're not a Netflix member, if you get it for like $5 with the ad tier, and the games don't have ads, so if you want just to have a little trial, $5 for a month, try it.
There you go.
But yeah, that's what I've got to say.
Yeah, for sure.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah.
Hashtag
Oh
not
yeah.
sponsored.
Yeah, we're definitely not affiliate with anything, but yeah, thanks guys for everybody who support the show, and we'll see you on the next one. We'll be around talking about Netflix game all week, so feel free to follow us on YouTube, on Twitter, on Reddit, on Discord, everywhere. We're everywhere. So yeah. With that said, guys, thank you so much for coming in, and see you on the next podcast next week. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
But bye, guys.